We hear a lot about establishing and maintaining good credit. But when it comes to your mortgage, is that really important? How do you build good credit? This guy knows. Steve Currington with CurringtonMortgage.com is here with the answers. How are you, Steve?
Good, man.
Good to see you, man.
You too, buddy.
So, yeah, we had a really good discussion while she was getting her hair done.
Yeah.
About credit, because at my age, I'm trying to get my credit down because I got in a little trouble with some credit cards and do that whole thing. But having good credit is pretty important when you need a mortgage.
Correct. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you get good credit?
Well, if you're someone who has bad credit and you need to improve it, that's a whole nother direction.
Sure.
But if you just haven't established any credit, maybe you've got light credit, there's lots of companies out there that can help you establish revolving credit, like a small balance credit card, $300 limit credit card you can get online. You can call us. We can direct you on where to go to get that stuff. What a lot of people don't know is that, they say, well, stay away from credit cards because they're bad and
right.
you're going to charge them up. And that is true, but for the purposes of building your credit, it actually represents 30% of your credit score. So if you don't have credit cards, you don't have the opportunity to even get that score. So I tell people it's like going to school and not being able to take math class and still trying to get a 4.0. You just never have that component in there to do it. So what we advise our clients is to use your credit card for the purpose of building your credit, and we teach them how to use it right. A couple things is we don't use it and charge it up to the limit and just make the minimum payment.
Right, and just leave it like right below the limit.
Correct, because that can hurt your score. Because they look at a ratio of what your balance is versus your available credit.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So if you have a balance, let's say it's $1,000, and I owe $800, that's going to affect it negatively. So what would be a good ratio?
25%, we say under 25. I think the number's 21 to 23% of your total available credit. So if you only have one credit card and it has a $1,000 limit and an $800 balance, you're at 80% of your available credit. So they look at that like, oh, he's maxed out 80% of his available credit, when in fact you've only used one card at $800, but we're able to help improve that scores by saying, Casey, you need to pay that card down to $200. And then we'll rescore your credit, get your score up if that's something that's needed. But really, what we want people to do is maintain that card and use it for the purposes of building good credit, not buying stuff and just paying interest on it.
It's probably a good thing to tell a teen. Actually, my boss's son, he's 18. He doesn't have a credit card, and he was like, I want to get a credit card, like a Best Buy card or whatever. If he does it for that reason, it'd be great. If he does it just because he wants to buy a ton of music and tons of stuff all the time, that's different. But if he does it to build credit, this is a good thing. Yeah,
and if there's a place you shop all the time, Saks, if you shop at anywhere and you buy clothes there anyway, that's a good place to go start and say, well, I'm going to spend the money here anyway. I might as well spend the money, put it on the card, and help build the credit that way.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, so what else? If I come in and I'm looking to get a mortgage, what's one of the other downfalls, like payday loans and those kind of loans? Is that going to that's going to affect me
when I talk
negatively?
about using bad credit to use it, we see it every day where the payday loans you're only allowed to keep, the companies are only allowed to keep on their books for a certain amount of time. So they kind of rope you in and you get that first loan, and then they, oh, don't worry, we can just refinance it for you. Well, what that shows up on your credit report is you've got, in the last 18 months, you've had 13 payday loans. Well, from an underwriting standpoint, that doesn't look very good, because if we're about to loan you $100,000 on a house and you're going to make your mortgage payments and you're having to get payday loans to pay your bills, it just doesn't look good. So if you had one, I'm not saying, hey, it's death now, you can't get a mortgage because you had one. Just stay away from it. We've done loans for people that have had multiple payday loans. It's just a concern. And when you've got other issues, like maybe a high debt to income ratio or a lower credit score, that can be the tipping point that says, we don't want to approve this person because of these factors. It's like strike 1, 2, and 3.
And the last thing I want to ask you is if somebody's thinking about buying a house, thinking about a mortgage, and the first thing you think is, if I've got bad credit, or my credit's probably not just there, you can actually help out. You mentioned like telling me to pay it down to a 25% ratio. That will boost my credit score. You can actually help people do that.
Right, exactly. So if someone's borderline and they're 10 or 15, 20, 30 points away from the score I need to get them approved, if they have some revolving credit, if they have types of credit that we can work with, we've got a scoring model that'll tell us, if you do this, your score will rise to this, and we can help people get to that level to where their score is what it needs to be. So we don't just send them packing.
That's smart. Thank you, SteveCurrington.com. We call him .com around the set. Hey, .com's here. You can reach Steve at Currington Mortgage Company. Give him a call at 918-394-5626. Email him at steve@curringtonmortgage.com or log on to curringtonmortgage.com.